Okay, good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. This is going to be my first virtual lecture. The first three or so lectures, four lectures we're going to do, I'm actually just going to cover material that we had already discussed in class. This is going to be a review of Chapter 7, which are our exponent rules. So I'm going to take a look at Chapter 7, Section 1 exponent rules that we learned. And we actually learned three. The first one was called the product property. And that's where if you have two exponents where the bases are the same and they are multiplying, you add their powers. And so here's an example. I'm sorry. The next one we're going to look at is the power property, which is you have a base to a power in parentheses, and that's being taken to a power. And then you would multiply the two powers. The third one we're going to take a look at today is the product property. And that is where you have two or more things inside a set of parentheses that are being multiplied, and all of them are being taken to a power. You distribute that power to each of the items within the set of parentheses. So let's take a look at the product property specifically now with an example. If you have x squared times x to the fifth, notice that both of the bases of the exponents are the same, as well as there is no indication of what the operation is. Therefore, it is multiplication. So when you have multiplication and the bases are the same, you can add the two powers up, and it becomes x to the 2 plus 5, which becomes x to the 7th power. And that, again, is called the product property. The next property I want to discuss in more detail is the power property. And so here's a specific example of that where you have one, or you can actually have more than one thing inside the parentheses here. But in this case, we have s to the fourth power, and then all of that is being taken to the second power. And as you can see, I like to call this a power to a power. And whenever you have a power to a power, you simply multiply those two numbers together, and that will give you s to the 4 times 2, which becomes s to the 8th power. The last property we're going to look at today is the power of a product. And that's where you have two or more things inside the parentheses that are all multiplying together. And then outside of the parentheses, there is a power that would go to everything on the inside. In this case, there's only two, but there can definitely be more than two. Here's an example of that. We have d times h to the third power. Notice the d is to the first power because there's no power listed. The h is also to the first power because there's no power listed. Therefore, this 3 would go and attach itself to all of the things that are within the parentheses. So you would end up with d to the third, h to the third. All right, everyone. That will conclude my first virtual lecture for you. I know, as I said, this is a review of properties we have already done. I wanted to get you guys used to listening to me online before I started to cover anything else that we might not have discussed before. So what I would like you to do for practice problems is to complete numbers 4, 7, 8, 12, 14 through 17, and number 19 on the Chapter 7 review. I will attach the Chapter 7 review worksheet as a PDF to my post on Google Classroom. All right, everyone, have a great day.